A woman lies face down on a deserted beach. She wakes up groggy, blinking into sun and sand. Her name is Jen. She staggers over and finds her friend Brad, also unconscious nearby. She flips him over and sees a piece of coral jammed into his stomach, bleeding, shallow breaths. Panic takes her. She rips off her backpack and life vest, drags him away from the surf, rips the coral free with shaking hands, and presses her scarf into the wound. Blood soaks the fabric. She runs into the trees to find water and food, smashes a coconut against a rock, races back to pour the milk into his mouth. But he's already gone. Brad is dead. Jen holds his face and screams until her throat is raw. The island answers with wind and waves. The strip of sand is small. Dense jungle rings it. Jen walks in a numb loop and ends up where she started. Over Brad. Over the tide. She cuts into the jungle and finds a clearing. A bag hangs in a tree. A red cooler sits under it. She calls for help. Nothing. The bag contains old medicine dated 1994. Whoever was here before left long ago. The cooler has dusty Coca-Colas. A thermos and a small metal box hide under a tarp. Inside the box, a deck of cards, matches, a few other odds and ends. An abandoned tent holds a backpack with a Game Boy, an old car radio, a book, a teddy bear. The place feels lived in and emptied. On the way back, she hears a noise in a hollow tree, finds a tropical bird, and uses leaves to cover Brad's body. Night brings a heavy rain. She shelters under leaves and a jacket. Morning, she finds small fish stranded on the shore and a shark split lengthwise, deep wounds carved into its flesh. Something big did that. She tries to clean the fish with a flat stone, gives up, returns to the cooler, and sits with the metal box. Her diary is ruined. The water has bled the ink away. Inside the diary, she finds a photo of her and her boyfriend in the jungle. Later, she finds an old burial site for 3 people. The place chills her. Back at the beach, Brad's corpse is already stinking. She drags him into the trees, digs a shallow grave with a jagged rock, and buries him. She marks the grave with a chunk of wood carved with his initial. That night, she constructs a crude sleeping place and roasts fish for her first true island meal. The next morning, she wakes to horror. Brad's grave is empty. The body's been dragged away and mutilated. She sharpens a stick into a spear and walks the perimeter, expecting a sign. Nothing. Night 2 is full of listening and waiting, but the island stays quiet. On day 3, she swims out to a dark shape and finds a bucket and a suitcase, and later, a pair of sneakers and clothes washed up on the sand. Her third night, she wears the sneakers for warmth. The metal box hides a secret compartment. Inside are old photos. She uses the firelight to study them. A plane rumbles overhead. She grabs a flare, fires it. The first fails. The second streaks up and fades. As she watches the flares glow, a humanoid silhouette rises from the surf. Terrified, she snatches her wooden weapon and sprints into the jungle, hides, listens to heavy footsteps, and waits until the thing leaves. Back on the beach, she studies the photos by daylight. A family. A woman with a bag near that same tree. 2 distant lights glitter on the horizon, and she tries a makeshift raft. Brad's life vests inside the suitcase. The raft collapses under her weight. She leaves it and sleeps inside a hollow tree with the spear beside her. One night, she wakes to the creature's arrival. It rolls the tree trunk with her inside, but goes away without discovery. Next morning, she catches a small shark and rigs it as bait, hanging the carcass and hoping the monster will take it and leave her alone. When she returns, the bait's gone. Later, she finds a body floating in the water. A man cut clean in half, face mutilated. She hangs the body where she hung the shark. On the 6th night, she watches the creature knock that body loose and drag it into the sea. She hears a plane again, but the plane fades and she's left watching the monster's feet nearby. She stays motionless until it leaves. The next day, she rigs a sleeping net way up in the trees, a place she thinks is safe, but lightning and a storm foil the plan. During a flash, she locks eyes with the creature. The monster pulls at the net. She falls, scrambles, runs to the beach. It bursts from the water and nearly catches her. She fights with the carved spear, is palmed, kicked, thrown into the surf, and climbs a tree to recover. Morning brings a miracle. An inflatable raft and a small tented dinghy approach with 2 survivors, Lucas, her boyfriend, and Mia, a friend. Relief pours out of her. She runs into Lucas's arms. She cooks them breakfast, shares an old soda. They admire the island, but Jen warns them about the black hole in the ocean and the creature. She shows them the photo of the family, whose eyes seem to gleam in the pictures. Lucas and Mia mostly shrug. Mia believes maybe there are graves on the island. Lucas tries to calm Jen. Jen pushes to leave. Planes fly west, so she suggests heading that way. She asks for a pocket knife to gather supplies and finds it smeared with a red liquid. Fear creeps in. Something bad happened on the raft before they arrived. They argue. Jen gathers a week's food alone and returns to find the couple exhausted and unwilling to swim. She tries again to launch the raft on her own, but Lucas and Mia stop her. A fight turns violent. Lucas throws Mia off the raft. Mia knocks Jen cold with an oar. Night falls. Jen wakes tied to a tree. Mia says there are no monsters at night and refuses to free her. Jen's credibility is shot. She's lied before, Mia says. Lucas walks the jungle and returns claiming no monster. Jen notices a mutilated fish on the sand, and the thread of truth tightens. The sea creature is on the beach. Lucas grabs a burning wood and runs, but the monster devours Mia. Jen frees herself and rushes to help, but it's too late. They hide in the jungle overnight. Lucas shrugs guilt and fear. Jen presses him to prepare to leave. She fishes with a spear, cooks the last matches, packs provisions, and an expired pill bottle. Then they launch the raft and head west. On the water, the raft is soaked with dark red liquid, Zach's blood. Panic. They paddle west for plains. The creature shows up in daylight. It smashes the raft, rips through the bottom. Jen and Lucas barricade themselves. The monster attacks repeatedly. It grabs for Jen. She kicks it away. Lucas fires a flare gun at its head, stabs at it with a spear, but water pours in and the raft sinks. The monster drags Jen underwater into a dark hole in the ocean floor. She fights back, grips her pocket knife, stabs into the monster. Black blood bubbles out. Lucas dives after her. The beast grabs him and pulls him into the deep. He vanishes. Jen surfaces, screams, clings to the broken raft, and limps back to shore. She tries to build another fire and writes a final frantic diary entry, a warning and a record. She prepares for one last stand. She sharpens spears from tree branches, binds bones into weapons, and sets a trap. A circle of dry sticks meant to hide her and confuse the monster. Night falls and the creature comes. Jen sets the ring on fire. The monster panics, lunges to escape, and she charges with her spear. They grapple. She is thrown and mauled, her head's bleeding and achy, but she keeps driving the spear into its chest. The creature grabs and crushes her head in its hands. She stabs again with a small sharpened piece of wood. Both are battered. The monster staggers, collapses exhausted on the sand, and Jen drives the final spear through its head. She decapitates it, proof clutched in trembling hands. Dawn comes. The island is smoking from the fire. Jen, limping and raw, carries the monster's head to the raft and ignites a signal fire. She hopes someone will see the smoke, the burning island, the severed head, proof of what she faced. She leaves a final diary entry, a last message in case anyone finds it. And with that, friends, this story comes to an end. Tell us in the comments how you like the explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.